They are counting on your silence. While you sit in a cramped seat, breathing in engine fumes, airlines are quietly siphoning $30 billion from passengers every single year. The system is rigged to take your money, but knowledge is your boarding pass to justice. Gate agents aren't just staff. In some terminals, they are practically bounty hunters rewarded for every bag they flag. You need a survival guide to navigate this minefield and claim the cash they owe you. Here are 12 rules to help you take back control. Rule 1 of 12. Airlines rake in over $30 billion annually just from seat selection fees. Take Hazel, a 42-year-old architect from Chicago. She was standing at the boarding gate in Milan, MXP, staring at the screen for her 9-hour flight home. Her knees were already aching at the thought of being squeezed into coach. The app wanted a staggering $165 for a single preferred seat with 5 extra inches of space. Hazel felt that familiar surge of frustration. The airline won't tell you this, but those empty premium seats aren't always locked behind a paywall. Here is the fix. Wait until 40 minutes before boarding. Approach the gate agent calmly and mention you noticed the flight looks nose-heavy, or ask about operational seating adjustments. Sometimes, if the plane needs weight redistribution for takeoff safety, they move passengers to empty extra legroom rows for free. It is not a guarantee, but it happens more often than they admit. Hazel tried it, and while she didn't get a first-class suite, she got moved to a bulkhead seat at no cost. But that small win is nothing compared to the algorithmic trap waiting for you in Rule 2. Legroom is just the first test. Rule 2 of 12. Check your airline app the very second the boarding process begins. Julian, a 51-year-old pharmacist from Seattle, sat in the terminal at Vienna, VIE, staring at his phone with growing anxiety. He was 6'4", and the thought of squeezing into a standard seat for an 8-hour flight felt like a prison sentence. Delta was asking for $165 for an exit row seat. He didn't want to pay it. But here is the fix. Airlines like American and Delta often use algorithms that hold these premium seats for high-paying customers until the last possible moment. If those seats remain empty when the boarding group calls start, the system sometimes opens them up for free to balance the aircraft or to fill the safety-critical exit row quickly. Julian waited. He watched the gate agent typing away. When the first group was called, he refreshed the app. Suddenly, the price dropped to 0. He swapped his seat in 3 clicks. They are banking on your ignorance. Reality check. This isn't a win every time. Some flights are truly packed. But for Julian, that quick refresh saved him $165 and a lot of back pain. He won the game. But saving money on seats is useless if you lose your bag to the algorithm in Rule 3. Rule 3 of 12. Eleanor, a 22-year-old student from Orlando, arrived at Tampa, TPA, for her 10:45 a.m. flight, clutching her carry-on with a mix of pride and anxiety. She saw the metal luggage sizer near the gate and decided to be proactive. This was a classic mistake. As she slid her bag in, the wheels jammed by a mere half-inch. A gate agent appeared instantly. "That bag needs to be checked, ma'am. That is $75. Eleanor felt a chill. She had used this bag for 3 years without a single issue. Most passengers walk straight into this financial ambush,
by testing their bag voluntarily, stop. They are banking on your ignorance. The sizer is often a trap. If you don't draw attention to your luggage, agents frequently look right past it during the boarding rush. If an agent singles you out, stay calm. Walk with confidence.
Carry your bag on the side, away from the agent, to minimize its profile. It is about avoiding unnecessary scrutiny. Reality check. If your bag is a giant trunk, stealth won't help. But for borderline cases, testing it yourself is just giving them money. Eleanor paid, but you can avoid it. Just remember, saving money on a bag won't matter when you face the gate bounty in Rule 4. Rule 4 of 12. Ever wonder why gate agents fight you over a tiny half-inch? It is because they might be making a commission of $5 to $10 for every bag they flag at the gate. Clara, a 28-year-old nurse from Boston, found this out the hard way at Zurich, ZRH. She was tired, just trying to get home, when the agent practically pounced on her carry-on. The agent didn't care that the bag fit in the bin yesterday. She wanted that bounty. This is where they screw you. The system is rigged to turn employees into bounty hunters.
Clara watched as the agent slapped a $75 tag on her bag while barely glancing at others. They wanted her money. The airline won't tell you this, but you can fight back with precision. First, never use a soft shell bag that bulges. If it expands to 10 inches when the limit is 9, you are a target. Second, stay calm. Ask to use the sizer yourself. Sometimes showing you know your dimensions stops the predatory behavior. In 2024, many carriers increased these bounty incentives, so be prepared. Reality check. A rude agent still holds the power to deny boarding. Clara ended up paying because she did not want to miss her flight. But knowing the game exists is your best defense. You just saved a headache, but that is nothing compared to the $1,600 you might lose in Rule 5. Rule 5 of 12. Over 40,000 passengers are bumped from flights every year, and often it is not because the plane is actually full. It is because of a silent algorithm working behind the scenes. Take Logan, a 29-year-old software engineer flying out of San Diego, SAN. He checked in 24 hours early. He had his digital boarding pass. He felt safe. But when Logan scanned his phone at the gate, the machine let out a harsh beep. The seat was gone. The airline's seat optimization system had reassigned his spot to a higher-tier frequent flyer. The system is rigged to prioritize revenue, even after you have technically secured your spot. Stop. Don't panic. If this happens, ask the agent specifically for an involuntary denied boarding statement. Usually, they might offer a small voucher, but if they cannot get you to your destination within 1 hour of your original time, you could be eligible for cash, up to 400% of your one-way fare, capped at $1,550. Logan stayed calm and asked the right questions. While the machine made the choice, a human can find a workaround. You just saved your seat. But what happens when the whole flight is grounded? Rule 6 will show you how to beat the clock. Rule 6 of 12. Stop running across the terminal like a madman. Marcus, a 39-year-old web designer from Austin, stood in Frankfurt, FRA, staring at a screen. His flight to Newark was boarding. His inbound flight had landed 20 minutes late. He had 11 minutes to traverse half a mile. Marcus felt a surge of desperation. He was ready for a night on a cold bench.
He was almost out. They won't tell you this, but United uses a tool called Connection Saver. It's an algorithm that finds passengers at risk of missing flights. The software checks if holding the gate for 10 minutes will delay the arrival or impact other connections. If the math works, the gate agent gets an order to wait. Marcus got a text. "We're holding the plane." The math worked. Reality check. They won't hold the gate if it ruins the schedule for 300 others.
Marcus got lucky because the math favored him. But what happens when the plane doesn't wait? Without the right rules, the airline keeps your money and leaves you stranded. You need the refund counterstrike in Rule 7. Rule 7 of 12. Wyatt, a 47-year-old financial advisor from Miami, sat near the gate at Los Angeles, LAX, staring as his flight to New York flickered and vanished. He knew the drill. Before, this meant a 3-hour marathon on hold, begging for a refund while an agent pushed a useless voucher. The system was rigged. But the game changed in late 2024. Now, if they cancel your flight, they don't get to play hide-and-seek with your money. Per the Department of Transportation, they are now required to issue an automatic refund. You shouldn't have to solve a riddle to get your $400 back. It must go back to your original payment method. The airline won't tell you this, but they officially lost this battle. Reality check. While it's automatic, it's not instant. Expect it to take 7 business days for credit cards. Still, Wyatt got his cash without talking to a chatbot. But a refund is only the start. That is nothing compared to the money you lose when Rule 8 regarding vouchers hits you. They profit while you lose out on real cash. Rule 8 of 12. Have you ever stood at the gate and heard an agent offer a $400 travel voucher just to take a later flight? It sounds like a windfall, especially when you're not in a huge rush. Maya, a 31-year-old journalist from New York, was sitting at Phoenix, PHX, when the announcement came for her flight. The airline oversold the cabin, and they were looking for volunteers. Maya's eyes lit up. $400 could cover her next trip. She stood up, ready to take the deal. Stop. This is where they screw you. The airline won't tell you this, but they are banking on your ignorance of DOT rules. If you are bumped involuntarily, the airline might owe you up to 400% of your one-way fare, capped at $1,550 in cash, not just a restrictive voucher. Maya didn't know that initially. She nearly traded a legal right for a piece of paper that expires in a year. Usually, the bid goes up every 10 minutes as they get desperate. Eventually, the airline at Phoenix offered $800. Maya held out and took it. Knowledge is your shield. But a fat wallet won't help if you're stuck at the security scanner. Get ready for Rule 9. Rule 9 of 12. Airlines save millions every year by simply saying the word weather. It is the ultimate legal shield. When David, a 56-year-old consultant from Denver, stood at the gate in Philadelphia, PHL, his flight was pushed back 6 hours. The agent announced it was a weather delay. David looked out the window. The sun was shining. He checked his app. Clear skies everywhere. The airline was banking on his ignorance to avoid paying for a hotel. This is where they screw you. Stop. Here is the fix. David opened Flight Radar 24 to check his specific tail number. He saw the incoming aircraft was actually stuck elsewhere due to maintenance, not a storm.
When he showed this to the supervisor, the tone shifted. If the delay is within their control, like staffing or mechanical issues, they often provide vouchers for food or hotels. Check the DOT dashboard to see what your airline promised to provide. David got a room and a $15 meal credit. Data is your armor. But even a hotel room won't save you when security survival hits the terminal in Rule 10. Rule 10 of 12. Keep your face neutral in the security line. Olivia, a 45-year-old dentist from Dallas, learned this the hard way at Lisbon, LIS, at 6:15 a.m. She was stressed after her trip and kept rubbing her forehead while checking her watch.
To a trained officer, these weren't just signs of a tired traveler. They were micro-expressions for the SPOT program that flags stress. They look for yawning, throat clearing, or avoiding eye contact. Olivia was pulled aside for a screening that lasted 45 minutes. She nearly missed her gate. The system is rigged. The fix is simple. Move with purpose and stay calm. Focus on your breathing rather than fidgeting with your phone or bags. If they pull you aside, answer questions clearly. Say, "I'm just a bit tired." Keep your hands visible. This usually works. Olivia made her gate, but the stress stayed with her. Reality check. Being flagged doesn't mean you're in trouble. It just means you're now on the clock. You survived the eye test today, but the biometric push in Rule 11 is a bigger challenge. Don't be a victim of the digital lineup. Rule 11 of 12. Amelia, a 24-year-old researcher from San Francisco, stepped toward the boarding gate at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta, ATL, with her pass ready. Instead of a scanner, she saw a glowing blue ring and a high-definition camera lens. "Look into the camera for faster boarding," the agent announced. Amelia hesitated. This is the reality of the biometric boarding push. Airlines frame facial recognition as a convenience. But here is where they screw you. Most travelers believe they are required to participate in this digital lineup. They are banking on your ignorance. They want your data. You have a legal right to opt out of biometric scans. If you value your privacy, simply tell the agent, "I'd like a manual document check." No drama, no long speeches. The airline won't tell you this, but they must verify your identity using traditional methods if you ask. Amelia did exactly that. The agent paused, checked her ID, and scanned her pass. It took 30 seconds. That is the price of keeping your face out of a database. It might cause a brief delay, but your rights remain intact. You protected your data. But privacy is the least of your concerns compared to the air you breathe in Rule 12. Rule 12 of 12. Have you ever noticed a faint, oily smell while taxiing and wondered if it was just harmless jet fuel? Stop. Charlotte, a 63-year-old real estate agent from Charlotte, CLT, was flying out of her home airport. As the engines roared, a strange, dirty sock odor filled the cabin. Charlotte felt a sudden, sharp headache. Her throat tightened. This wasn't just plain smell. It was a fume event. Most cabin air is bleed air drawn directly from the engines. If a seal leaks, heated engine oil or hydraulic fluid can mix with the air you breathe. The airline won't tell you this. They are banking on your ignorance. If you smell something metallic or foul, don't just sit there. Cover your mouth with a damp cloth immediately to filter the particles.
Charlotte alerted the flight crew right away. Document the time, the smell, and your symptoms. Report it via the airline's official app or the FAA system later. Reality check. Fume events are rare, occurring on roughly 1 in every 5,000 flights. It's not a reason for panic, but being informed keeps you safe. Charlotte recovered quickly, but she never flies without a mask in her pocket now. Stay alert and stay safe. If you don't know these rules, the airport will take your money every time. Don't be the passenger they take advantage of. Join our squad by subscribing now.